The entire country is asking just one question: why did the government do this? Why did the government give Pakistan an alibi? Why did the government try and make it easy for Pakistan? Why was the government playing Pakistan's line? Why was our government playing into the Pakistan army's hands? What was going on in the government of India that they worked overtime to ensure that Islamabad is not embarrassed? Where is the sense of duty, national spirit, national interest and personal conscience? Where was it all gone for 3 days before, after being beaten to admit the truth by the opposition and the media, the government did a U-turn? And that's the brutal fact. And finally, of course, the question remains, where is our Prime Minister in all of this? On the Newshour tonight, Rajiv Gowda represents the Congress Party point of view. Also representing the ruling coalition's point of view on the program is DP Tripathi, spokesperson and member of Parliament of the Rajya Sabha. My friend and colleague Maruf Raza, Times Now strategic affairs expert, joins us on the panel, as do KC Singh, former Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs, Seshadri Chari, convener, Foreign Affairs Cell of the BJP, and Kunal Verma, defense analyst and author. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining. Let's begin by putting the ball in the government's court, the UPA's court. Why did you do this, Rajiv Gowda? Why did your government try to compromise national interest by arguing Pakistan's case until we caught it red-handed?
Arnab, basically the defense minister came out with a statement to Parliament as soon as he had information on the subject. And as the information changed, got more detailed, got more clarified, and it became clear that the Pakistan Army's hand was involved, that is the report that he made placed before Parliament.
That's not
so that
true.
is exactly
That's
the
not
story.
True, Rajiv.
Everything
you
else
know it's not
is your
true. What the government did,
it is
what
your
the government did,
interpretation.
Rajiv,
It is your
was that
interpretation.
what the defense
and your
minister
interpretation
did.
on an issue
No, that's
of
not true, Rajiv.
national security is
there
totally
is no
uncalled for.
interpretation. It's a
Your
statement of fact.
interpretation is totally uncalled for.
There's no interpretation.
Do you get information?
There is no interpretation. Your government has been accused by the opposition of trying to embrace Pakistan, and that's the point. Let's get the others in. KC Singh, what do you think? Rajiv Gowda, let's get a non-political point of view before I get Seshadri Chari in. You're being very aggressive in your opening comments, but let's hear it from an ex-diplomat. KC Singh.
Arnab, this is, I would call it Sharm el-Sheikh 2.
Sharm el-Sheikh 2.
It's the same kind of bad drafting. It's an attempt to protect what they think is the dialogue with Pakistan. That is sacrosanct. You ignored the morale of the army. You ignored public opinion. You thought you could protect that, and your meeting with Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif in September. Back channels were working.
Oh, yes.
Secretaries were beginning to meet.
Yep.
Composite dialogue was back on track, and they suddenly found it derailed. Now, when you tell them that these are testing points, and the testing point was, why was there silence from Nawaz Sharif? Okay, spoilers have done this. We assume that spoilers in the army and outside have done it.
Spoilers isn't, you're saying, suppose it's, you're saying non...
Why did not Nawaz Sharif pick up the phone and speak to Prime Minister or Prime Minister to Nawaz Sharif and say, I'm ordering an inquiry to see why it has happened, because there's a group which has come from across the border.
Why would Nawaz Sharif do that? Why would the Prime
He's in London.
No, why would...
He's on vacation in London.
Why would the Prime Minister of Pakistan do that when he knows that the case for Pakistan is being argued by the government of India?
That is precisely what happened. And I think Mr. Antony, realizing this, he's an honorable man. He's gone back, he's dug in today, and he's read the Riot Act.
But, you know, I heard Shiv Shankar Menon tell somebody today on the floor of steps of Parliament that, you know, he didn't know about this. That they had no idea. Maruf, you believe that? That the government, let's
no, there's one common person between Sharm el-Sheikh and this.
Is Shiv Shankar Menon.
And you named him.
Shiv Shankar Menon. Maruf, do you think this could have happened only at Antony's level?
Arnab, the Prime Minister and some of his close cronies, I don't want to take names, some names are being thrown up, but the fact is that many of them are wedded to this idea that it is India's responsibility to strengthen Pakistan's democratic credentials. America has tried and failed. India has its own role to play, it has its own interests, and in the case of Pakistan, if whether it's whatever cover the apologists in the Congress are now giving to Mr. Antony and his statement.
No, it's not apologists in the Congress, it is the Congress.
Yeah,
Rajiv Gowda is
that's
the
what I'm saying.
Congress.
So what I'm saying, they are apologists within the Congress. But the fact of the matter is that Mr. Antony, if as Defence Minister of India, having been in the chair for 5 to 7 years, doesn't know that there is such a close nexus between the Pakistan Army and the Lashkar and the Pakistan, it's on record by people to say that the army officers and men take leave to train and fight with Lashkar and cross the LOC with the Lashkar.
Why does the government,
everyone knows it. This is in the public domain. And then you have the government trying to say that, there was maybe just terrorists, firstly. Secondly, the point is, the government is, there are people in the government who think there is a big fruit to grab from the tree ahead in the international arena and get kudos and win international recognition for trying to solve. If Obama can get a peace prize without doing peace but entering 3 war conflicts, so why can't we look at possibly getting some kind of a international recognition for our peace efforts?
Rajiv Gowda seems upset with that comment. I'll go back to you, Rajiv. You see, I'd like to get DP Tripathi, and he supports the government. I want to know, Mr. DP Tripathi, the extent of your support and whether you believe that the Prime Minister, his National Security Advisor, his Foreign Secretary and had no idea about this attempt to compromise national interest. Mr. Tripathi.
No. I entirely disagree with that concept and assessment, Mr. Goswami. Please kindly listen to me. I did not interfere with anybody's remarks, so I do not wish anybody to interfere with mine.
Please continue.
Fortunately have a defense minister. We have fortunately have a defense minister whose commitment to honesty, integrity and national interest is undoubted by most of the political class and media also. Everybody who understands Indian politics understands the honesty and uprightness of Mr. Antony. So that is a question undebatable. The second point is, in the changed world order, do you think warmongering and creating hatred helps any kind of conduct of international relations, and especially with neighbors? It doesn't.
Who's doing the warmongering? I want you to be precise. No, 1 second. Who's doing the warmongering? Who's doing the warmongering? Be precise with me, Mr. DP Tripathi. Who is doing the warmongering? Because while I'm talking about, and if your insinuation is on the media, then let me tell you, it's a responsibility of the media to uphold national interest.
No, it is my
and if a compromise of national interest is being done by even your Prime Minister, we will question it.
Not on the media. Please listen to me. Listen to me. Let me complete. You see, that is what I'm saying. But the warmongering is from the Pakistan Army and the ISI. This has been proved without any iota of doubt. This has been happening. So what Mr. Goswami you are saying and Mr.
Why was your Prime Minister protecting Pakistan then?
Experienced diplomat.
1 second. I have 2 questions.
No. I am telling you with all frankness.
One second, sir. Sorry to be direct. The question is, if the Prime Minister, there are 2 arguments made. One is Prime Minister did not know. The Prime Minister did not know, then why is he the Prime Minister? And the second point is this, you talk about Antony's personal honesty. Is this about Antony's personal honesty, Mr. Chari? Or is this about Antony being a buffer for the Prime Minister, or why India's national interest was compromised?
No, I have great respect and regard for Mr. Tripathi, but let him not plead the case of a total mishandling of a situation and put it at the door of somebody's honesty. We require an honest minister, no doubt. But we also require a defense minister who understands the strategy and the strengths of this country. And I am glad that after all these things that has happened today, he has at least had the courage of reading a statement today in Parliament where he has said something about the consequence of our behavior as a result of Pakistan's action.
On LOC.
On LOC.
But he's been forced to say that. He's been forced to say that. He's been retracted to say that.
Even if he's forced to say this, I hope he does not retract this, and I also hope that this sends the proper signals to the Indian Army to take an appropriate action, which the Army Chief promised in January.
So, but let's get Kunal in and then I'll open it up. Rajiv, I know you want a second.
Just one quick point, and that is, too much is made out in our political scenario of individual honesties of individuals. The point at issue is, if you are honest, thou shalt not lie, steal or cheat or tolerate others who do so.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So the fact of the matter is that honesty apart, Mr. Anthony should have stood up with, I mean, are you trying to tell me in an electronic age, you need the army chief to go to the LOC to ascertain where Pakistan army was involved or not?
Absolutely not.
I mean, what kind of humbug is this? And we are trying to say that I'm waiting for the army chief to come and give me the actual correct input. That means all other military commanders down the chain are incompetent or you don't trust them. I mean, this is bizarre. I think India needs, as Mr. Chari, I support Mr. Chari's view, you need a leadership which understands our strategic strengths and positions India the way India should be positioned. We don't want embarrassment anymore.
I think why the government is looking so bad in this, and please don't mind my being very direct today, Rajiv, and I'll give you full opportunity to respond. Why your government is looking pathetic in this is because the allegation is about fabrication of fact. The second press release was not concealment of fact. It was concealment of fact and fabrication of fact. Removal of some things, selectively putting things out to exonerate Pakistan. And before I come back to you, I'd like to get Kunal. How is this going to cost the nation?
And the third thing is making the army retract its statement yesterday.
Absolutely, embarrassing the army
Absolutely
yesterday.
Embarrassing
amounts
the
to
army
almost saying that the army was lying in its first statement, whereas the fact of the matter is it was the government of India which was lying in the second statement.
And the defense minister doing this is even more shameful.
And I'm only asking, what is the compelling reason why the government has done something?
Kunal,
how will this cost the nation?
We are getting mixed signals from the PMO time and again. You had the track 2 business around Siachen, for example. There was a whole uproar about the whole thing. PMO didn't say a word. They in fact went along with a lot of people who were supposed to have been propped up into the whole thing.
True.
Again, what's going on? I mean, the army today is in a position where the junior commanders who should be taking decisions on the ground are hesitating to do anything because there's nobody to hold their hand. They don't know where the signals are coming from.
That's true.
The signals from the PMO today are absolutely mixed. They're garbled. As an Indian today, I don't know what to think myself. It is shameful, absolutely, what is happening.
Well, I think, you know, first of all, Rajiv, I want you to admit that the position taken by your esteemed foreign minister on the Newshour yesterday, the position taken by your esteemed Congress party spokesperson on the Newshour yesterday, Mr. P.C. Chako, who said there's no difference between the two letters. P.C. Chako was on Newshour yesterday, Rajiv Gowda, and he said there's no difference between the two letters. He said you are imagining it, the whole country is making it up. And he tried to push the case that there was no U-turn in the first place. Now, the Congress explanation for the change is not clear. Mr. Gowda, Salman Khurshid says that the army which issued the first letter made a mistake and a corrected statement was read out by A.K. Antony in Parliament yesterday. Now everybody will ask you a simple question, and that's where you will be caught red-handed a second time. So evaluate what you are going to say. If the first release was a mistake, the government has gone back to the original stand taken in the first release. The first release categorically held the Pakistan army responsible, and that was what Antony said today. So clearly, based on what transpired today, the revised letter was a fabrication of fact. The revised letter was a lie. Why did the government of India lie? Why did the government lie? We want to know why your government lied on this issue. Mr. Rajiv Gowda, give us a convincing answer tonight.
Arnab Goswami, the government of India has not lied to you or to the nation. The government of India has clarified the facts. Essentially, you have had a situation where you had information coming in initially. We have a very, very sensitive border issue, and you do not want to provoke more, and worsen whatever efforts are being made to normalize relations. So you are waiting for clarification.
Because you feel you don't want to provoke, you will lie about the facts about the involvement of the Pakistani army. How ethical is that?
Not at all. Not at all. What is national interest in this context, Arnab Goswami? It is having a peaceful neighborhood and peaceful relations with all our neighbors.
The country wants to know the truth.
So it is not.
And you did not tell them the truth. You knew the truth. You hid the facts. You changed the statement. Now you've been forced to go back.
That you might have to retract later. If you say that it was the Pakistan army first up front, without clarifying once and double checking, you know, you are creating more trouble, and you would have asked for a retraction if that wasn't the case.
No.
So
What do you need to
essentially,
double
what
check?
No, one second. We're getting reaction.
Please tell me.
Mr. Gowda, remember this.
He
Mr. Gowda, remember this.
very
You
urgently,
have given
and when
a
the facts
reason
have
to
come out,
Pakistan to
he
deny
has
their
responded
involvement,
and clarified.
and they will
Any
point
other
inconsistencies
interpretation
within the
is
Indian
not
government
in the
to
national
claim our
interest.
stand is
It
not
is basically
united.
you
That's where you have
provoking
compromised
for no
national
reason
interest, Mr.
whatsoever.
Gowda. And that's not acceptable,
Not
Mr.
at all.
Gowda.
Not at all. Not at
That's
all.
not acceptable.
Not at all.
At
I'm really-
what
Let's get right. Shadri Chari is contesting you. The BJP is here.
He has to tell us at what stage the
of the
government
Indian
decided,
people.
especially the defense minister decided, that this is a sensitive issue.
Yeah.
When the defense minister says that a number of people who were civilians who were actually wearing the Pakistani army fatigue came and fired and killed 5 Jawans in India and went back, and the Pakistani army did not even know this, was he making a proper statement in the parliament of the country?
And if he did not know the facts, why did he make the
why did he make the statement in the first place?
Why, if he did not know the fact, why did he not tell Parliament, I know nothing,
I know, he
I
could have
will
easily
respond
said
after
that.
getting to know? Why did
And
he
then
put out the wrong facts?
Come on.
And not
Why
only
are you
that,
giving
he
this
had
sort of
the
an
facts
extreme
right
viewpoint?
on his hand, and he did not speak from the facts.
He's responding.
He changed the statement.
Let's give him a chance to respond. Let's give Mr. Gowda a chance to respond.
Confirmation. Mr. Anthony wanted confirmation, and once he got the confirmation, you have the facts. There is nothing erroneous in the statement which says
I don't
people
think-
wearing a Pakistani
Mr.
uniform.
Gowda,
Tell me,
let him come.
where
Let him
does it
come.
say it's civilian? It can be army people wearing the uniform. It can be special forces using the uniform. So why are you interpreting it as civilians?